Alexander, man, what really stood out to me from watching your highlight video was just your motor. Playing within the confined space that you're in, D-line, O-line, and just seeing the motor, the quick twitch stuff you've got going on, especially with your hands and stuff like that at the D-line position, that's really stuff that really stood out to me. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following, okay? The first thing is to make an information slide at the very beginning of your video, and the best way to go about doing this is to go on Canva. All right, this is free. You'll go on there, you'll go to one of their slides, and on that slide, you're going to put the information of your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number. Okay, put that information on the left, put a picture of you on the right, download that, and then upload that to the very first thing on your video. Okay, now the reason we want to do that, okay, so boom, as soon as the coach pulls up your film, all the information he needs on you is right there. Okay, how he can follow you on X, how he can send you a questionnaire via an email, how he can contact you via phone number. Okay, and the reason being is because a college coach's time is so short and valuable. If they don't have that information, they could very possibly pass on you because they're trying to watch 60 to 100 kids in a day, and they don't have time to go try to find that information on us. Okay, and personally, I've had to do that before. All right, so we want to make that as easily as possible on them, be able to have all that contact information for you. Okay, next, we want to go to talk about removal of plays / non-highlights. All right, and this is more anything that doesn't showcase your strength or transfer to the next level as much for you. Okay, we're trying to help take some of these plays out that's going to help move that needle for you. Okay, that's really what we're trying to do. Say you're a 10 on a coach's board. All right, take this play out. Boom, let's bump up. Then give this a possibility to bump up to an 8 or a 5 or higher. Okay, so the play I've got for you here is at the 102 mark. All right, it's the one you're at center, which I love the versatility of that you showing being at center. So if you've got other clips like this, do that. Okay, being at center, showing that you can play guard center makes a big difference. All right, but it's more so of the not getting any threat to us on our pass pro. Okay, to where we're not really being allowed to do very much. All right, so that's where just we're not really doing too much. We're not really being able to stand out, help move that needle for us. Okay, so that's why we want to take that one off. All right, next, removing background sounds. Okay, you got a few plays on here. I've got some background sounds, and we want to take that off because we don't want to have anything that's going to distract that college recruiter from evaluating your film. Okay, they're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day. All right, like I already mentioned, they're sitting in a dark room, lamp on, and they're in the zone. Okay, listening to their own music type of deal. Sometimes when they get out of that zone, it kind of gets them. It's kind of like you when you're playing. You're in a zone, you're locked in. It's kind of the same thing when they're recruiting. They get in a zone, and you don't want to do anything that's going to throw them out of that zone. Okay, so that's why we want to remove that background sound. Okay, next, going to the order of plays. We don't want to jump around from going defense, offense, special teams, and then a couple offense, couple defense. Okay, we want to do all our defensive clips first for you, and then do all your offensive clips, and then do your special teams clips at the end. Okay, now the reason we want to do that is because that way it's going to make it easier on that college coach to be able to jump to where they can watch clips on you and not have to watch all of it. Okay, so take the offensive line coach for instance. All right. We've got your offensive line play second. Okay, say he can jump to the 45-second mark, and boom, now he can just watch the offensive clips. Okay, same thing with defensive line coach. Boom, he can watch ball at the beginning and then be done. Okay, he doesn't have to watch offense and defense. It kind of helps them in their time, and then they can really hone in on what you're doing as well. All right, next, we want to go to the sequence of plays. Okay, and this is kind of how the film flows for you. All right, so we want to start off whenever you've got these. All right, we want to start off with turnovers, so any forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and then these sacks. All right, and then TFLs, anything at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. All right, anything disruptive there, and then your remaining defensive highlights, which is more not necessarily one of these statistical side of plays, but something that still showcases what you can do well. Okay, then we'll flip that to the offensive side, like we said, we're going to do defense, offense, special teams. Then on the offensive side, we're going to go all of your run blocking plays first. Okay, and all your pass blocking plays second. All right. Now, the reason being on that is so that when the offensive line coach is watching you, okay, he can just, hey, I just want to watch all of Alexander's run blocking clips. Boom. He can go from the 45-second mark to a certain point, watch those, then go, and then next day, hey, maybe I just want to watch the pass blocking clips, and then he can go to that point there, okay? And then after all that, we want to follow that up with your special teams, with your long snaps, with your short snaps, okay? And being able to know that they got somebody that can do that as well makes a big difference, okay? So we want to go ahead and add those on there as well, all right? So how we want to start these off is we want to put our best plays first to start each section to be able to capture that coach's attention early to keep him watching. Okay, so what I've done here is I've gone on and I put what I believe should be the best play for you here, okay, for this section. So for your TFLs, all right, starting at the 0-second mark here. Okay, great job, great use of hands, showing the physicality, showing the toughness and everything else, and being able to not just make contact, but being able to drive the contact back. Okay, driving your legs there. That makes a huge difference because then you go to the 129 mark here, all right, and this is why kind of how we want to move this stuff around for the sequences side of things, so then not having to jump around as much. Okay, so with this one here on this TFL, all right, we're great contact, but then we're not in a bad. This is not a bad play whatsoever. Okay, and it's just the difference in the one boom we're still driving back to this one we're kind of pulling. All right, it's just sometimes the angles and everything else, but still great play. So that's the one I go with next. All right, then we want to go to the 116 mark. All right, for your third TFL, and this is how I order things. Boom, being able to show, being able to get a stop at the goal line. Okay, that's big stuff right here. Boom, shed the block, stop the goal line, don't let them score a touchdown. Fantastic job right there. Okay, fantastic job. All right, and then next we want to move to the remaining defensive highlight. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you this just so you kind of understand what we're seeing now. We want to put our best plays. So if later on, okay, in the future, you get other plays, put those on here, okay? So show this really quick right here. Boom, right here. All right, great job. Seeing it. Quick run play, getting after it. All right, pursuing. Boom, great contact there. All right, now, if that's 10 other yards down the field, I necessarily wouldn't put that in there because sometimes they'd rather see things happen quicker than happen down the field as much. Okay, next, go into your run blocking plays. Okay, the 19-second mark is one I'd start out with here. All right, because being able to show the contact, they love physicality, they love violence, they love pancakes. Boom, driving this dude and finishing him. That's the stuff they want to see on run blocking clips. Okay, great one to start off with. Great job showing your athleticism and being able to pull. Okay, so that makes a big difference as well. All right. The next, after that, I'd go to the 156 mark. Okay. One of your ones towards the end. And that's kind of why we want to move this stuff around because after a minute, if they don't see anything, they might pass. So that's why we want to kind of move this stuff, kind of group it together, put your best place first. Okay. So again, be able to show you moving, pulling, boom. You guys got a little pin and pull going here. Boom. Great job sealing that guy. He wants to over pursue it. You're cutting that shoulder off and getting a good block there. Okay. Fantastic job. Then you've got the other ones where you're running out in space, one of your first ones. Okay. If you've got a tight angle on that, do that because that's going to help. They would rather see the tight angles than the wide angles if you've got the accessibility to those. Okay. And then at the 55-second mark for your pass pro. All right. Then we'll do the pass pro after this. Boom. Showing great job on your base and everything, being physical and violent with them at the end. And then go to the special teams like we talked about. Start with your long snaps. You got that one on there at the 30-second mark, and then follow that up with your short snap. Okay. So those ones would be great ones to have on there. So add that information slide. Remove that play we talked about. Remove the background sound, change up the order and the sequence, and overall, this will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. Okay, I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do, and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. Okay, and I want you to understand that this is a current evaluation opposed to a projected evaluation. Okay, and this is based on a few criteria. The first thing is your graduation year. All right, you've got a couple years. Use this to your advantage. Know how we need to attack this recruiting process, how we need to reach out to these D-line coaches, okay, and how you can keep improving upon what we need to improve upon. All right, so they're going to look at your graduation year, then they're going to look at your size, your foot speed, your flexibility, and your power and strength. And with that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D3 and then that upper to top NAI levels. All right, now you should start getting interest from these college coaches, okay, and if not, you need to start the communication process with them through emailing them, calling them right away. Okay. Now, they may not necessarily be on the 2028 kids, but that's what us making this progress and reaching out now, that's going to put us on their radar quicker. Okay. Make sure you're marketing and branding yourself in the correct way. All right. That's also going to be beneficial. But then you also need to make sure you're starting to get your name out there through social media, following these coaches on X, DMing these coaches. Okay. You need to start making sure you're doing that because being an underclassman, that helps get your visibility out there more. Okay. That helps really get that outreach out there. Okay. Then these prospect camps that you're going to. Okay, you got to make sure you're attending the right ones. You're attending these mega camps, you could get lost in the shuffle being an underclassman. You go to these camps where there's a handful of schools or more of a one-on-one, you're going to have an ability to be able to make a relationship better with that D-line coach or that offensive line coach. Okay, that's really going to pay dividends in the end. So we got to make sure we're going to the right ones, putting our money toward those right ones. So once you develop that relationship with them, then you send them that midseason highlight. They're going to know who they're watching and be able to know just off of that because of that relationship they built. All right, but here's the deal. How can we also attack these levels and get better? Okay, my suggestions to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. The first thing is the strength and power. Okay, making sure we're hitting the weight room and developing that strength training a little bit more. Okay, making sure we're adding good weight to our frame because if we're trying to focus on the D line, we got to keep adding good weight. Okay, they're going to keep wanting to bulk you up. That's what they do. Okay, but you still got to be able to explode out of your stance. Okay, showcase that functional strength and power like you've done. Be able to show some more bull rush stuff, hands. Okay, just those type of things. Those are things they really want to see more and more. Okay, how quick is your get off? Okay, how quick is that get off? All right, flexibility wise. Okay, pre and post training stretching. Okay, if you guys don't do this as a team, you got to do this on your own because this is going to help improve that pad level against the run or the pass. Okay, that's part of that individual work that comes with it as well. Okay, for the D-line guys, you've got to keep working on that flexibility. Okay, especially for you, being able to get more flexible in the hips and the knees is going to be very beneficial. All right, it's also going to help prevent injury because your best ability is your availability. If you're dinged up and nicked up over these next couple of years, that's going to hurt your chance of video, which will then hurt your chance of an offer. If you're dinged up and nicked up in college, okay, that's going to hurt your chance on the depth chart. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your body. Foot speed is another thing for you. Okay, doing dot drills, ladder drills. Be the first off the snap. Okay, because you got to beat that O-line with that first step that's going to provide a huge advantage. Okay, and also continuing D-line technique development, showcasing more and more for you. Okay, block destruction. Yeah, you showed it on those one time to be able to shed the one-on-one blocks, but how do you get when you got a double team? How are you going to stop that? Okay, being able to show not just one or two, having more in film. Just it's going to come as you get older and stuff. Just being able to showcase that film more and more. Okay, stance, footwork, hand accuracy. Okay, those are details you're going to do all the time in college drills. So you've got to make sure you've got a good development of them. That's going to help you later on. And then also the ability to reset the line of scrimmage because coaches are looking for guys who are going to reset the line of scrimmage downfield or in the backfield. Okay, you showed it being able to do it in the backfield multiple times, so you've got to keep developing that and keep showing that. Okay, they want to see more and more of that all the time, not just one clip here, one clip there. They want to see it all the time in these films. Okay, but these improvements, all right, are what a D-line college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that D2 level. But Alexander, at the end of the day, man, everything's really going to come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media. Like I said, that marketing is going to be big because of being underclassmen and that relationship building with college coaches, which is why the next step is your athlete interview. You're going to get an interview with the coach, okay? and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.